Hi, this is Erina McWilliam Lopez from 1623 Studios, and I'm joined here today by Anne Marie Casey from north of Boston, who's going to share with us insights on how north of Boston is navigating the current pandemic across the Commonwealth, and particularly thinking about the local economy and how tied it is to tourism. So, thank you so much, Anne Marie, for joining us. And just let's start out. Tell us about north of Boston. Who do you serve, and what's your core mission?
Thank you, Erina. It's great to be here. I wish that we could see each other in person, but that's been one of the most difficult parts. Again, my name is Anne Marie Casey, and I'm the executive director of the North of Boston Convention and Visitors Bureau. So our mission is to attract travel and tourism to Essex County, Massachusetts, which is 34 cities and towns. Our district begins in Lynn, goes all the way up the coast, up through Cape Ann, Rockport, up to Newburyport, Salisbury area, the New Hampshire border, and then around the perimeter of the Merrimack River. So we also encompass Haverhill, Lawrence, Methuen, Andover. It's a very large region. It's very diverse. It's full of historical significance, arts and culture. We have so many activities on and off the water, breweries, wineries, distilleries. Of course, our lodging partners are major partners with everything that we do. So again, we market north of Boston as a travel destination. It's a travel destination for the leisure market, for the group tour market, for weddings, meetings, special events. And we do this domestically and internationally. So we have
Wow.
a lot of efforts going on. It's very significant. The North of Boston region economic impact for direct tourism expenditures, both domestically and internationally, is $1.2 billion a year.
That's
So it's a
incredible.
lot of money that comes into our region. We're close to Boston. We have, of course, the beautiful coastal areas that attract a lot of folks. We're known for being a safe place to visit with beautiful historic and scenic beauty. We have the Essex Coastal Scenic Byway, which goes through 14 communities, which is a very popular. It's a very popular self-guided tour that I promote both domestically and internationally. As I mentioned, we're close to Boston. Our price point is a little bit more reasonable than Boston. So we also have that as a major attractor of folks that are coming into Boston. I love Boston. I work with the folks over there. You just can't beat Boston. I went to college there. I never at the time when I went realized that I wouldn't have the money to live there again.
Wow.
But I lived in Beacon Hill for 4 years and it was fantastic. So I love Boston, but I love north of Boston. And I think we're very fortunate with what we have to market. No.
And what are your priorities right now, given that, some of these core pillars of your work, like travel and, tourism is kind of at a halt right now. So how are your priorities in this situation? How are they shifting?
Yes, our priorities have shifted a lot, and it's very scary. It's a scary time, and we're in the middle of a health crisis, obviously, and we're also in the middle of an economic crisis. The health crisis portion, of course, comes first. So what we have done as an organization is we have shifted our focus to concentrating on the adjusted business services that our members provide. Some of our lodging properties have changed their services. Some of them are partnering with offering special promotions and to our first responders. So we like to get the word out about that. Our restaurants are now doing takeout and curbside. We work with all of the chambers of commerce and destination marketing organizations throughout Essex County. So we're linking to all their pages. We're very actively on social media, with our original content, promoting our adjusted business services collectively, as well as calling out by city and town and by our member businesses that are perhaps doing virtual tours. Essex Heritage Commission has a beautiful webpage called Heritage at Home, which I know recently, given the fact that the seriousness of it, of this COVID-19 pandemic has gotten even more serious, and we are expecting a surge, which, as you said, every day, every hour, things change. We do realize that people want to get a little bit out of their house for physical and mental health. And we have been promoting the Heritage at Home pages, taking a walk in the beautiful areas and historic homes and state parks. Some of those things have closed, and we are urging people that, we know it's important to get out, but to adhere to social distancing guidelines and to adhere to any property closings, because this is very real. And right now, it's what I normally do during this time is not what I'm doing right now. But
Yeah.
normally I'm gearing up for a robust tourism season. I still am. As a matter of fact, I just did some Google ads. I still have a presence. I don't want to not have a presence. I have reduced spend right now, noting that people aren't coming, and I don't want to be insensitive to what is going on and to, say, come visit us. The ads are showing some beautiful, scenic imagery and request a travel guide for future travel.
And
That
it sounds like you're not slowing down, you're actually ramping up, but in a little bit of a different way.
it is a different way, and again, it has to be done with a lot of it's absolutely done with sensitivity. I mean, I have colleagues throughout the North Shore that are suffering or have had family members that have passed away. There's nothing, any data I can give you, and I certainly can give you some projected economic impact data as to what this will do for our nation, for our state, for our region, as far as an economic impact of what we're going to see here with the loss of travel during this particular season, and the unforeseeable future. We don't know when it will ramp up again, when people will have the all clear to travel and when they will feel comfortable traveling. But I absolutely want to keep our destination at least, on people's minds, that, that
And
we're
who
here.
collaborating with and talking to in this process? You cover a huge amount of territory, so it sounds like you must be talking to a lot of different stakeholders. And who are the top ones that come to mind?
Well, as I said, I talk with all of the chambers of commerce and the destination marketing organizations. I work very closely with Elizabeth at Discover Gloucester,
Mm.
as well as Kate at Destination Salem, with the Cape Ann Chamber, again, the Greater Haverhill Chamber, the Greater Beverly Chamber, the Greater Lynn Chamber. Those are really good. The Greater Newburyport Chamber, they're really good resources because they have such a we're able to increase our reach to their members as well, through their organizations. And it's very good that we stand together that way. Right now, another shift that we're all doing is shifting to webinars to keep our members engaged. We can't physically get together, but I just recently had a webinar with Expedia talking about what they're seeing with their travel trends, and
Oh,
how their bookings are obviously very much in negative for the spring season, for April, May, even June, and where they're seeing that people have pushed some of their plans out into July, which is better than canceling their plans. So people are still wanting to keep the plans that they made, and I think it was a good activity to have our members, working together. I'm also working with organizations such as the Salem State Enterprise Center, North Shore Economic Alliance, to make sure that people know the resources that are available to them. Most of the businesses that I work with, and of course, I work with larger entities like the Salem Witch Museum, like the Peabody Essex Museum, and the House of the Seven Gables, and all of our local restaurants, the Beauport Hotel. These may be, even no matter how large they are, they're all being hit in this way. And it's
absolutely.
important that we're all working together and just keeping those lines of communication open. So I'm getting information out about economic injury, disaster loans, anything that's available from the SBA. I work closely too with the Massachusetts Regional Tourism Councils. North of Boston is a regional tourism council. There are 16 designated throughout the state.
Mm.
We are one of them. So I work with the other 15. which
Wow.
includes Greater Boston. It includes Plymouth County, Nantucket, the Vineyard, Merrimack Valley, Central Mass, Northampton, the Berkshires, Mohawk Trail, Springfield. We get together on a monthly basis, virtually now, of course.
Yeah.
And we talk
Well,
about putting together, right now we're in the midst of talking about putting something together for a statewide marketing campaign. And we're working with the Mass Office of Travel and Tourism and the executive offices of Housing and Community Economic Development to talk about how we're going to finish this year with money that has been allocated for one thing, and now we're going to be moving it to something else. There are, whenever we do all receive supplemental state funding, there are criteria as to what you can do with that funding. So we need to work with the administration and the legislature to make certain that our adjustments are approved by them. So we're doing that right now.
that's huge, and really appreciate this, I think, really comprehensive scope of what it means to be trying to balance, the economic impacts and obviously also the health impacts, which are, equally as enormous. It's an unprecedented time, and really appreciate you sharing some of that just on behalf of North of Boston. And I think, there's not a lot of good news right now, but what I am hearing is there's a lot of collaboration happening.
Yes,
And that's our best fighting chance, is that we support each other and work together. And so I think that's sort of the best shred of hope that
I
we can
totally
have
agree.
right
I
now.
totally agree. And we are doing that, and we are working together. And I'm hopeful that we'll have some type of a campaign ready to go. That's our goal, that when we can be ready, we are ready.
And where should our audience go to see some of that coming out? Is it northofboston.org, or is there another site that would be good?
Northofboston.org is the website that I manage for our region. It features all of our members. I definitely encourage people to go there. Right now, of course, we're promoting adjusted business services.
Of course.
Of course, we are. We have a robust calendar of events. That is obviously every day. It's changing. Things are being pushed up. Things have been canceled. It's as
Good.
you said. It's a sad time. When my campaigns do come out, I do a lot of digital ads. I do a lot of trade shows. A lot of those have been postponed or pushed up. Um, so what I would recommend is absolutely to visit northofboston.org for different things that we have going on. And some of the ads you might just see when you are randomly browsing, because
Yeah.
they will pop up. I do a lot of geo targeting,
Well,
which is going to be different this year too. One of my main markets has always been New York.
wow.
My heart breaks. My
That's
heart
going to
breaks
be
for New York.
huge.
And New York is a huge market for north of Boston, for Massachusetts. To give you an idea, there's with respect to domestic marketing, which is really what you're going to see most of my regional tourism councils. That's what we're going to focus on. International tourism, we don't know when that is going to be coming back. That is much more of a wild card than even domestic, obviously. We don't
Yeah.
know what is going to happen in that arena. For north of Boston, domestic short haul tourism, which is where I usually focus my efforts, which is usually the New England and the Mid-Atlantic states.
Mm,
75% of people that come to Massachusetts, they come by car.
mm,
All right. So that is our bread and butter anyway. I'm always
yeah.
focusing on that area. New York is huge. I don't know what is going to happen with that market. And again, my heart breaks for them. That is just to be determined what is going to happen. So we got a lot of folks from Connecticut, New Jersey, where I put out our visitor guide, are
Super
all
hard
those
place
areas.
right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are places that could come and drive here. So we roughly run about 85 to 87% domestic marketing, domestic visitors to north of Boston. Like Boston is about 80%. They have more international travelers than we do.
Mm,
And so Boston's really feeling it too with their larger hotels. And they generate a lot of lodging tax. They generate a lot of economic output for this state. So Oxford Economics came up with a study that just estimated what this could mean to the travel industry, and it came out, a week ago. A week ago is like a year ago, right now.
Yeah,
All right? It
absolutely.
really,
These are,
so I can give you their estimate, but again, it's anyone's guess as to how this will actually, play out. And I'm so hopeful every day that we have a medical breakthrough, something that will stop this in its tracks. I'm, just as concerned as everyone else that, not only stopping this now, there's how long could this go on? Could there be another surge of it? So frightening.
mm,
What Oxford Economic is saying through the U.S. Travel Association is that the economic impact of this at the moment of the COVID-19 health crisis is a loss of about $400 billion for the country.
that's unimaginable. That's terrible. That's
It
so
is
scary.
terrible. I hate to give you this news. It's 4.7 million travel related jobs. And they're saying that this has an impact of more than 7 times than 9/11 did.
Well, I think what this calls for, and not to take it lightly, but is obviously things are going to massively change and it's not going to be easy through that process, but it's something that, is an absolute necessity right now. And so appreciate you joining us for this call. And I think
Yes.
this is really helpful and informative for the community. Obviously, not a lot of great news, but really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Anne Marie Casey.
Thank you, Erina.